Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry upper deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. And welcome in, female hockey fans from Manitoba and Saskatchewan and wherever else. Welcome into the third and final day of the 2025 Central Plains Capitals Showcase, live from Portage la Prairie at Stride Place Arena. This is our third and final day. As mentioned, this broadcast and all of our broadcasts today will be brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico, Movement Fitness and Performance, and Elite Prospects. Thank you to them for supporting us this weekend and for supporting our coverage of female hockey here on your home for female hockey in the province of Manitoba on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. As we take a look at this year's tournament, this year's showcase, how it's gone so far. So we take a look at day number 2. For some reason, none of the scores showing, as we'll update that as things go along today. But yeah, as we take a look at how day number 2 ended up going for this year's Central Plains Capital Showcase, it started off with the Winnipeg Avros defeating the Interlake Lightning by a score of 5-1. Westman Wildcats took down the Pine Mountain Buffaloes 5-2. The Selects and the Ice, a game that was seen here on the network, tied at 2 apiece. The Yellowhead Chiefs won a close one, 3-2 against the Central Plains Capitals. Weyburn with the biggest win of the weekend so far over Pembina Valley in the 12:45 game by a score of 10-0. Prince Albert Northern Bears, they took the 4-1 win against the Interlake Lightning. The Westman Wildcats won 4-2 in a game seen here on our network. The Avros demolished the Pine Mountain Buffaloes 8-2. Winnipeg Ice won a close one, 3-2 against the Prince Albert Northern Bears. The Yellowhead Chiefs and the Pembina Valley Hawks ended up tying 1 apiece, and Eastman ended off the night with a 2-1 victory, their first of this weekend over Weyburn, to also hand Weyburn their first loss of this weekend. There's 5 games on the schedule today. The Pembina Valley Hawks and Winnipeg Ice are already underway on the other rink, as that was an 8:45 p.m. start time. We're going to have the Prince Albert Northern Bears and Yellowhead Chiefs to start things off today. Interlake Lightning and the Weyburn Gold Wings are going to be playing coming up at 11 a.m. on the Mutual Arena here at Stride Place. And then to end things off with a doubleheader for us, the Winnipeg Avros taking on the Westman Wildcats at 11:15 a.m. That'll be around when puck drop is. And then we finish things off with the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy Buffaloes taking on the Eastman Selects. But as for the Yellowhead Chiefs, it's only our second time seeing them in action here, as we got to broadcast their opening game against the Westman Wildcats on Friday. And it's a bit of a different look to their coaching staff. Derek Tibbetts no longer the head coach of this team. They've decided to do a bit of a changing of the guard in Yellowhead, but still gotta like that there is some familiar within the staff. And by the way, Derek Tibbetts is still on the staff as an assistant, but it's Logan McGonigal who takes over as the head coach this year. Sydney Murray, Sam Geeky, Derek Tibbetts the assistant coaches, Kelly Cochran the GM of this team. And for Yellowhead, a team that's been a perennial contender year in and year out in the MFAHL. If there's a guarantee throughout these past few years, it's that Yellowhead ends up making it into the Final Four. But for them, they got some solid returning players, maybe some questions in net, but that's settled down. Their goaltending's gotten better as the weekend's gone along. And yeah, for Yellowhead, with some good rookies coming into this team, one of the most notable ones, Haley Chapelski, ended up leading all players in points last year in the MFHL U15 AAA League. So, with this year's group for the Yellowhead Chiefs, can they finally put it all together and finally make it back to a championship series? Haven't done so since the mid-2010s. And as for the Prince Albert Northern Bears, a team that's coached by head coach Steve Young, a team that hasn't even played any games until this weekend has hit, and they've looked pretty good so far. Both games we've seen here on the network, between them and their opponents, two Winnipeg teams that they've played, Prince Albert has ended up keeping things close. Keeping them one-goal games and whatnot, and I think that with this amount of talent that they have, they got a fast team, a skilled team, a team that's been relentless on the forecheck this weekend. I think that Steve Young and his staff has to be pleased with how things have started off for this Prince Albert Northern Bears squad as they continue to get ready for the upcoming regular season with a final tune-up game this weekend against the Yellowhead Chiefs, as Yellowhead will also be playing in their final game of this weekend this morning. It's the Northern Bears, it's the Chiefs, coming up next on your home for female hockey here in the province of Manitoba. G-Show Productions. On gshowproductions.uscreen.io, we'll have the national anthem coming up next, and then the puck drop for the first period here. To start things off at Stride Arena number 1 here at Stride Place, Manitoba, for game number 19 in this tournament. Enjoy, everybody. I guess we're skipping the national anthems, actually, today. We're going to bring up our scoreboard now, as this first period brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store, as we're officially underway here for game number 19 in this year's Central Plains Capital Showcase, as it ends up in the Northern Bears zone to start off. Clarkson, she plays this up. As for the Northern Bears, wearing their name bars on the bottom of their jerseys, repping their orange, black, and white jerseys, primary color orange. Yellowhead in their primary yellow jerseys. As they are the home team for this matchup, the Prince Albert Northern Bears, the away team. As this sent in deep, chasing after it to start things off as Gracie Reed gets it up to the top of the left face-off circle, but taken out by the Yellowhead Chiefs as Casey George given chase there. This played up off of the stick of Reed as she couldn't cradle that pass, but now Hoffman makes her way in. Hoffman, a backhand chance in tight, smothered by number 33 and Gracie Johnston, who gets the start today for this Yellowhead Chiefs team. Number 35 and Avery Brunin in net for the Northern Bears. And shout out to Avery. Me and her share the same birthday on May 10th. Pretty cool to see that, as that shot from the point blocked up by the Chiefs, as it's sent in by Briscoe, or Siklenka, that is, as it gets to Hodson. Hodson plays this to Pollock. Pollock loses the puck for a sec before getting it back and fires it in. Brunin out of her own net. Leaves this for Siklanka. Siklanka's reverse pass ends up being denied. Intercepted down low by Hodson. Hodson keeps this down low, swings it, but no one home. So that was out of the reach of Cochran. Cochran back on it though. She shoots, turned aside. So that was actually Pollock who ends up unloading. Emma Pollock, as we'll have a face-off coming up here in the Northern Bears zone. Trying to take the draw against Despiège-Lair. As draw will be won by Tran. Tries to poke it back, but right in with an active stick. Number 14, Rose Deba. As this goes, D-to-D, stripped of the puck at Yellowhead Chief by Northern Bear. That a great save by Gracie Johnston to weather the storm here early on. As connecting down low, tries to spin away from the check-in, ends up losing her balance, and it's taken away by the Yellowhead Chiefs. Despiège-Lair sends this in deep. It's sent in on Brunin. She just decides to cover this up as Chloe Facey is crashing hard to the net there, hoping for a rebound to pop out. So it'll be Casey George to take the draw. George returning forward for this Chiefs team. A team that doesn't have many 2026 born players compared to some of the teams in the MFHL. As this pass out of the reach for Davidge. Cochran up the left boards. The Yellowhead Chief pinned along the boards. That allows for the Northern Bears to take this away as Davidge, her shot, almost sneaks past Gracie Johnston. She gets hit in the crease too, so a goalie interference call will be coming. That'll send us to a Yellowhead Chiefs power play, which will be brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Number 5 in London, Hoffman goes to the box, puts the Chiefs on the power play for the first time this morning as Hodson to take the draw. Out there with Monker as well as Courtney Cochran at the point as Cochran swings this over to Monker. Monker fires this off the left pad. A Brunin save made by number 35. This held in at the point by Cochran. As Cochran surveying options, goes back to Monker at the right face-off circle. Back up top to Cochran. Cochran fans on that. Unfortunate for Clarkson as she had her stick slashed out of her hand. She couldn't do anything with that potential breakaway chance that could have ensued, but we are going to go to even strength for the next minute and 35 seconds. 4-on-4. As it's Courtney Cochran in the box. We play 4-on-4 here, just over 16 minutes remaining in this first period of action as Emma Pollock takes this around her own net. Pollock trying to shield this puck and makes her way through with some strength past Tomlin. By number 15, and Christensen. As Clement gains the zone. Down low, Chapalski able to gain possession of this puck. As Chapalski, the rookie defenseman for the Yellowhead Chiefs, led all of the MFHL U15 AAA in points last year, goes for a skate. Chapalski shoots this high of the net as she misfires over Brunin. As 38 seconds remain in the 4-on-4. This taken away by Jersey Anderson. Anderson with strength going through, ends up finally just sending that down low. She was about to be closed off. As Boy at the point. Passes this off to Konechny. Konechny's low shot, glove there by Johnston. With a face-off draw that will be coming to the closest face-off circle to our broadcast angle. The blocker hand side of Johnston as draw one there by the Northern Bears. Up to Simonson. Simonson, D-to-D pass. That shot, Tran, unable to get it through, is a nice block by the Chiefs. 8 seconds remain in the 4-on-4. A bit of power play time coming up here for the Northern Bears. Konechny over to Tran. That shot goes wide as Hoffman out of the box heads to the bench. Boy, over to Tran. Tran tries to send that to the slot. Pass almost not there, but it gets to the low slot as that shot ends up going wide of the net. As number 22 in Reed had a good shot. Opportunity, but just couldn't capitalize. As we are back to even strength now. That turned away in front of the Chiefs net. As for Yellowhead, they play this D-to-D. Pass, stretch across to Rose Deba. Rose Deba to Brown. Brown sends that in. It'll be intercepted by Boy. Boy, tight turns to get away from the Yellowhead pressure. Does it again. First against Brown, then against Barnes. So this finally dished off to Simonson. Simonson up to Wallen, quickly up to number 22 in Reed. But Reed's pass across, intercepted. Just sent in by Oakton. As it's down below in the Northern Bears zone again. As this just tipped out. Nice play by number 8 in Mitchell. This was almost a turnover for us there by the Yellowhead Chiefs. As both teams still getting into this early morning game. Puck dropped at around 9 a.m. This is game number 19 of this showcase. Trying to get it to the slot there with the pass. I believe it was Mitchell who tried to find her teammate. And Wallen, or it might have been Marshall, is this covered up by Brunin. So we will get a face-off. To the blocker hand side, the right hand side of Brunin, as Pollock loses that draw against Prince Albert's Andy Marshall. As to Marshall, banks this off the boards. It'll be Japelski who settled that down, got it to Hodson. Hodson, D-to-D pass as this now up the boards to Pollock. Pollock gets cut off along the wall there by Marshall as PA works D-to-D in their own end. Pass in the neutral zone, off the mark, intercepted by Japelski. Japelski will get it right back. She's in her own end. Smart play, goes D-to-D. Up to neutral ice, but that pass makes its way through the stick of Monker. Ends up out of play as it's sent out by the Northern Bears. As you're watching G-Show Game Day, thank you for tuning in on this Sunday morning, whenever you may be tuning into this one. It's been an eventful and exciting weekend. As the Northern Bears with a chance! Christensen alone on Johnston, but misses the net. Prime scoring chance there for the Northern Bears. Emma Christensen as it ends up into the slot. Chiefs defend it well. Despierre will carry this out past the red line. Banks it in. Won't get to it first though, as that's Konechny who just beats her to the puck. It's up to Christensen, who moments ago had a glorious chance on Johnston. Just put it wide. Rose Deba to the slot. That pass won't connect. So it's intercepted by Clement. Clement, just before the blue line, sends this in deep. Johnston touches this out of her own crease. Slowed it down a bit for her team to be able to work it D-to-D. Rose Cochran almost fanning on that, but gets it to safety to her D partner in McGonigal. As Clement sends this down low, but rims around the boards. Unable to catch it was Wallen, as this finally out of the Yellowhead end, going off for a change. Let's see if the Northern Bears can make him pay. Yellowhead right back into position. As for Courtney Cochran, send that along the wall, up to Monker. Monker chips. It's intercepted by Simonson. She cuts that off just before it hit the blue line. It's D-to-D to Boy. Boy plays it up to Wallen. Wallen tries to look middle, but fans on that pass altogether. The Northern Bears still have possession of it. Boy turns it over, center of the ice, gets it back, whacks it into the Yellowhead zone. That's Courtney Cochran, first one on it. Has Hoffman pressuring, sends this pass over to Monker. Moncourt off the boards and out. And unfortunate for this Prince Albert Northern Bears side, as it's going to be a too-many-girl penalty. 6 players caught on the ice for this Northern Bears team. It'll be another Yellowhead Chiefs power play brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As Monker plays that up and into the Northern Bears zone. Yellowhead hoping for a bit more power play time this time around, as last time it's a slashing penalty, which ended up ending the power play about like 20 seconds in. As on this delay of game penalty, Northern Bears send this down all the way into the Yellowhead zone. Chapalski, nice move down low in her own end to evade the check from Konechny. She got to safety up top. Now into the Northern Bears zone. That through scores! Somehow sneaks past Brunen's pads and into the back of the net as the Chiefs strike first for the first time on this Sunday morning. 1-0 Yellowhead leads. Goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, and it looks like a pretty harmless shot towards the net. Maybe takes a funny bounce and it's misjudged by Brunen. That's kind of what it looked like, but for Yellowhead, you'll take that puck luck all day long, all game long. As for Logan McGonigal getting fresh legs out onto the ice, got to be pleased with that, as that goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. So we wait for something right now. Another penalty. Never mind, we bring Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia back on. As it's number 4 for the Northern Bears, and Davidge in the box. As for PA, they work this back to neutral ice. Clement over to Siklanka, sends that in to the Yellowhead zone. As that pass gets cut off down low into the crease of Johnston, having to make that save. She turns it aside. With 9:31 remaining, Yellowhead remains on the power play after just opening up the scoring moments ago. It's Jersey Anderson to take the draw against Rose Deva. Anderson for the Northern Bears just wins this to the wall. Siklanka plays it down low, as it's cradled by Rose Cochran. Cochran up to a teammate. That off of a skate of Christensen. There's a penalty coming up to the Chiefs here. So we're back to 4-on-4 play coming up. 2 minutes for body contact, except that looked like it could have been a cross-check too. It'll be Despia Gelaire who heads to the box. As we'll take our special teams off for now. We'll go to 4-on-4 for a moment. As we just sort things out with our production team, we're back to calling play here, as it's 4-on-4 for the next minute and 6 seconds, dumped into the Prince Albert zone by number 23 in Briley Barnes. Ricky on this year's Chief squad. As Jersey Anderson emerges from the close boards, now back on it. Center of the Yellowhead zone. Great play by Rose Cochran to shut her down as she tried to go inside, outside on the Chiefs defenseman this all the way down. Should be for an icing, and it will be. There's no change allowed for the Chiefs. There's draw one by the Northern Bears in the Chiefs zone after the icing. Whipped over to Tran. Tran protects on the backhand towards the net. Kick save made by Johnston as the Chiefs look to break it out the other way. Tipped, so no icing. Went off of a stick of a Northern Bear, and boy, as she settles this down beyond her goal line. Has to be careful here, dishes it off. Number 20 in Simonson. Simonson stretches this onto the stick of Reed. Reed over to Tran, but that pass not cradled in by number 6. We're now on Northern Bears power play. For the next 24 seconds is Tran. That shot from the slot ends up being blocked by number. Someone for the Chiefs as that ends up in tight and into the back of the net for the Northern Bears. 7:30 remaining on the first period clock, and this game is tied up at 1 apiece. So that goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As the Northern Bears whacking away at that rebound, second chance. It ends up into the back of the net. We'll see how the Chiefs respond now. As right now the discipline, it's worked out one way, but then cost them a bit the other way. It's their first goal and their only goal of the game on the power play. They've had a few power plays where they take a penalty about 20 to 30 seconds into it, which ended up bringing it to a 4-on-4. And as we just saw, it led to a Prince Albert Northern Bears power play, which they capitalized on. As for PA, this pass intercepted. Chapelski activates into the zone, tried to make a move through Konechny, but got shut down as it's D to Davidge. Davidge off the glass, plays this out of play. She was trying to send her teammate Hoffman, it looked like, on a potential break. As this sent out almost of the Northern Bears. Zone line held there by Facey. This back into the Chiefs zone now. Rose Cochran trying to protect this, but has her pocket picked by Anderson. Anderson shot trying to pick the corner on the close side on Johnston, but Johnston denies her. Prince Albert already beating Johnston on that side, somehow finding room past her on the game-tying goal moments ago. Shots, by the way, 8-5 in favor of the Northern Bears, with just over 6 minutes remaining in this period of action. Johnston tries to cover this up, and she does in front, as that puck was loose for a moment off of the initial shot. There's another face-off draw to the blocker and side of Johnston. Wallen to take it for Prince Albert. Going up against Rose Daba. Rose Daba lost it to the net. The Northern Bears trying to crash and bang, but unable to bang it home. This shot wide of the net from Davidge. She swooped in from the point. Activating Facey. Covered by Davidge. Was waiting for a pass from Despiège-Lair that didn't ever come, as Despiège-Lair just decided to dump that in deep. Now intercepted by Brown at the line. Brown in! That shot turned aside by the blocker of Brunin. Now Courtney Cochran. That shot rebound left there for Ozdeba, but a good defensive stick by Wallen to turn it aside. Down low, the Chiefs try to play that out front to Brown, but had that intercepted. As Brown back on it from the hash mark, she shoots, flutters wide of the net, deflected off of a stick. The Northern Bears just trying to get this out. They do, but it will be for an icing, so unable to change. And nonetheless, just getting a bit of a breather for the next few seconds. The players that remain out on the ice. I believe it's going to be Wallen taking the draw. She's out there with Tran, I believe Christensen or Clarkson. Confirm that in a moment as draw won by the Chiefs. Chapelski at the line. Holds this in off the post, scores! A deceptive shot from the rookie and Haley Chapelski. As that one had eyes, finding the bottom of the left post and deflecting into the net. Talked about it yesterday. Post can be goalie's best friend, but on that, Brunen's worst enemy. As a shot through some traffic, Chapelski, not a lot of velocity on it, but accurate. As it fools Brunen to give the Yellowhead Chiefs a 2-1 lead. With 4:55 remaining, that goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. How do the Northern Bears respond? How do the Chiefs close out this period now, given that they've regained the lead here within the final 5 minutes of the opening frame? Continue to push, I'd say, if you're the Chiefs. Look for more here. As this long shot covered up by Brunen. Not really a shot, but puck ended up into her crease. Shots 10-8 in favor of the Northern Bears. They now trail as that recent goal from number 9, rookie defenseman Haley Chapelski, gave the Chiefs the lead back. As Konechny into the skates, takes out her teammate and Reed. It's a bit of friendly fire there. So not what you would expect after getting the pass into the skate, as that all the way down for an icing. As draw will be to the blocker hand side of Gracie Johnston. Andy Marshall, looks like she'll be taking the draw against, I believe, Emma Pollock. As Pollock with the strong win on her strong side towards the corner boards in the Yellowhead end. Now Pollock gets the puck back as she tries to maneuver up the right wall. Just gets it in deep as she was closed off. It's down low. Monker tried to get a cycle going, but taken away by the Northern Bears. Played up, it's Clarkson shielding that puck. She went one-on-one with the Yellowhead D and Cochran, but that pass towards the net, intercepted by Yellowhead. And now transition into the Northern Bears zone. Monker can't send that in deep with success. It was blocked up as Boye ends up hitting the back of the leg of Jersey Anderson, trying to connect on that cross-ice pass. As this sent all the way back down into the Yellowhead zone. Passed up to Facey. Facey a bit of trouble with it, gets it back, sends it in deep. She tries to get to the puck first. First forward checker on Boye. Forces a turnover. She almost picks Boye's pocket. But Boye just strong enough to maintain that low slot now. Yellowhead trying to capitalize. Smelling blood. As Hoffman, her cross-ice pass, tried to go backdoor for Christensen, wasn't there. As Christensen helps out at the wall. Gets this free to Simonson at the point. Deflects wide of the net. Went off of someone's shin pad. Their skate, rather. As this ends up back into the Yellowhead slot. Sent out by the Chiefs. As they get some fresh legs out on the ice now. Almost every single Chief has changed. As it's Rose Cochran who picks this up. Cochran will send this over to Courtney Cochran. It's both out there right now for this Chief squad. Finally go off for a change. Is this played in by J.C. Oakton? Barnes, pressure on the PA defense. Wallen will turn this over at the point as Cochran sends this in deep. Courtney Cochran, that is. Set it into the direction of Barnes as this ends up being sent out of the Prince Albert zone. Cochran, good stick to just play that off the boards to safety. Ends up into the neutral zone. So it'll be to Casey George. George off the board, sends this in deep. So that's been the MO for this Yellowhead Chiefs team for most of this game. Dump and chase, try to establish something on your forecheck and get possession of the puck back. Is that an offside coming up on the play? With a minute 34 remaining in this first period of action. The most recent goal scorer for the Yellowhead Chiefs, Haley Chapelski. It's her shot able to fool Brunin. As this ends up into the crowd, look out down below. It's quite interesting. As a broadcast company, we haven't broadcasted in many rinks where there's this little of mesh around the end glass. The glass that protects the patrons here. As this over to Tran. Tran, her shot just sails over the net. Nice try there. She received that pass from Mitchell. Marshall can't get that in deep. It's number 23 gets it back now in the neutral ice and sends a pass to Tran. Tran chips and goes. She gets this into the Yellowhead zone. Into the final minute. This first period of action in game number 19 out of 22 in the 2025 Central Plains Capital Showcase. Rimmed around, reversed by the Chiefs. First one on it was David, who just sends this in deep. Along the wall, held in at the point now by Clement. Far side of our broadcast angle. Is this off the boards? Gloved up by Johnston. Was looking to cover it up, but elected to play it out. This is to Chapelski with 30 seconds left. Chapelski, she's going to look to go for a skate. Has Hodson with her. She tries to dangle past. Nice stick by Sikalanka, but a nice pass from Chapelski trying to get that to the point. Just out of the reach of her teammate, her defensive partner. That almost turned over in the neutral ice for Yellowhead. They get it back. So it's sent in to the Northern Bears zone. Clement D to D. Northern Bears try to work this up quickly. The pass will be cut off as the horn sounds for the first period of action. We send it to our first intermission of day 3 coming up. You'll hear from Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia here shortly. I think in this period, early morning game, of course, for these teams, some good chances created. We've seen some nice passing plays, some good opportunities off of the rush. I think for the Northern Bears, execution a bit lacking on their attempts in the offensive zone so far. As for the Chiefs, for the most part, I think Gracie Johnston has looked pretty solid. But of course, like to have that goal back. That was scored on the power play by the Bears. But interesting in this one. First 2 goals, one from the Chiefs to open it up, and then the one to tie it up for the Northern Bears. Both of those were scored on the power play. So special teams is working well today for both of these teams. And then, it was Haley Chapelski, the rookie sensation on defense for this Yellowhead Chiefs team, who puts a C&I shot towards the net that ends up going posting in to fool Brunin through some traffic. For the Bears, looking for better execution moving forward. They've had great chances for Yellowhead. Maybe playing a bit of a more disciplined game to give you some more power play time. So we've seen 2 cut short already today due to that. And just continuing to up the ante and your pressure in your game as this goes along. As we'll be back for the second period coming up. This first period brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Be sure to check them out at 995 Miltsteagle Drive or visit their website at cancentralsportscards.com today. We'll see you shortly, folks. Back for Northern Bears versus Chiefs. Period 2 up next. Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Well, welcome back into Stride Place Arena in Portage La Prairie, Manitoba, as we continue to awaken ourselves here in this early morning contest for Day 3, the third and final day of the 2025 Central Plains Capital Showcase, as it's the Yellowhead Chiefs and the Prince Albert Northern Bears kicking off our coverage today. The Yellowhead Chiefs up 2-1 after the first 20 minutes. Shots 10-9 in favor of the Prince Albert Northern Bears. A chippy first period between both teams. Really good job by both teams in terms of taking away space in the neutral zone and helping out their goaltenders, whacking away rebounds. Prince Albert was able to break through on their power play, though, to get their first and only goal of the game so far, where they crashed and banged in front of the net, occupied by Gracie Johnston. And were able to put it home past Johnston, sneaking one past her short side. But then later on in the period, Haley Chapelski for the Yellowhead Chiefs would give them the lead back to be able to put them up 2-1. In net this morning for the Northern Bears, as we take a look at Maggie Schell in front of the Northern Bears bench, it's number 35 and Avery Brunin, who's the goaltender in the pipes today, the Warman, Saskatchewan product. Looked pretty good so far, has made some key saves. Of course, like to have that one back she gave up against Chapelski, but as mentioned, a tricky shot to track as it went through a bit of traffic, some bodies, and ended up finding the right angle to go posting in. As for both these teams moving forward in this game, I think for the Northern Bears, looking to open up the ice a bit more. You know, you're one shot ahead against the Chiefs. Like to start off this period, I think, with, you know, a few quick shots off the bat to test Johnston once again. And as for the Chiefs, I think for them overall, you know, trying to open up the Northern Bears a bit more as well. Find those openings in their defensive zone coverage, and yeah, trying to break through the neutral zone a bit more, like Prince Albert I think is going to be trying to do. And yeah, I think a bit more discipline from this Yellowhead Chiefs team could go a long way in helping them the most in potentially bringing home this victory today. By the way, this could very well end in a tie, as all games in this showcase are only regulation based, in terms of all teams get 3 20-minute periods, but there's no overtime or shootout since this is strictly a preseason showcase. No stakes involved like quarterfinals, semifinals, gold, and bronze medal games. As for the Northern Bears, I've said it already, I'll say it again. Been impressed by this team, how they've played under Coach Steve Young this weekend. From what I've heard, it's their first action together as a team this year. as they patiently await for their opponents to make their way back onto the ice in the Yellowhead Chiefs. As their intro song plays right now. This period, by the way, is going to be brought to you by Movement, Fitness, and Performance, as well as Elite Prospects. For Movement, Fitness, and Performance, an independent local Winnipeg gym, going 5 years strong in their location at 1111 Winnipeg Avenue, building number 3. Be sure to check out their website as well at movementfp.ca. For Elite Prospects, the most informative hockey player database on the internet today, as they like to call it, the web. Be sure to check out their website to find details about, well, I'm sure you can find all these players' details at eliteprospects.com that are playing in this game. As Yellowhead is out, Johnston back in her crease, Brunin out of her crease right now in the Northern Bears end as Prince Albert starts off. This period of play, as it's down low. Hoffman cut off there by a Chief. That's Cochran who jumped up to make the aggressive play just inside the blue line as this chipped out, sent back into the Yellowhead zone, being pressured there by Anderson, and Hoffman was Rose Cochran. Is that a misplay off the boards? Almost danger in front for the Yellowhead Chiefs as this puck sent all the way out down into the Northern Bears zone, and it will be called an icing. For Yellowhead, doing a really good job of tracking down pucks in their own end. When the Northern Bears have been trying to stretch the ice, going off the boards, as we just saw there. And I will say for the Northern Bears, is this a penalty coming up? It'll be a movement, fitness, and performance power play. It'll be the Yellowhead Chiefs who end up going to the power play for the next 2 minutes. Tran in the box for the Northern Bears. Just talking about how their aggressive forecheck looks strong even within the first few seconds of this period, right? Pressuring Cochran, but a bit too physical on the forecheck along the boards there. Results in Tran going to the box. As Yellowhead already a power play goal in this game. Would certainly love to keep a bit more time on 5-on-4 compared to the last time they were on the power play, taking a penalty. About 38 seconds in as that shot off of the dome of 35, and Brunin held in by Courtney Cochran. I guess that to Hodson. Hodson back up to Cochran. Cochran's shot tipped and wide of the net. That's first one on it. Down low. Not sure who that is, but Monker in to help her teammate. And number 6 in J.C. Oakton, as Oakton tries to scoop that out. The Northern Bears able to get it, but not out of the zone. Courtney Cochran back to Hodson. At the hash marks, her shot glove down and smothered by Brunin. With just over a minute played here in this power play. 59 seconds remaining in the box for number 6 in Olivia Tran, the Prince Albert, Saskatchewan product. And in fact, for Prince Albert, there's a few hometown girls on this team, as they got 4 Prince Albert players. The rest are from places around Saskatchewan: Yorkton, Warman, Humboldt, Delisle, Martinsville, even Lungenburg. Is that shot covered up by Brunin. I've heard Ninth save of the game so far. Shots now tied at 11 apiece. Despiage-Lair to take the draw against Reed. Reed wins this back to Marshall. Marshall tries to whack it out, but Miko waiting right at the point to hold it in to Rose Deba. Rose Deba, her shot through some traffic, turned aside by Barunin. Got through cleanly, but couldn't beat number 35. DDD pass. That shot gloved down this time by Barunin. So it was Chapelski who fired that into the glove. The Northern Bears goaltender. "16 seconds of power play time remaining as Yellowhead wins the draw. That shot low, turned aside by Barunin. Kicked it into the corner. Is this all the way down for the Northern Bears, ultimately ending the Chiefs' penalty or power play as we're back to even strength. Tran heads to the bench. Soft for a change. On for her, Layla Hoffman. Or London Hoffman. Apologies. As Chapelski sends this in deep. Nectard currently on the ice. Wonder if they'll blow the play dead here coming up. We continue on for the time being, though, as it's played D to D in the Yellowhead zone. Intercepted by Marshall, but delayed offside. She had to exit out and come back into the Yellowhead end. As for Anderson, drops this off to Hoffman. Hoffman turns it over to McGonigal. McGonigal has that stripped away by Anderson. Down low, she plays this to the front of the net. Anderson just wide of it on that shot attempt. It's Anderson in the corner, working with McGonigal. Now Hoffman rubs McGonigal out. That shot from the low slot turned aside, rather from that left face-off circle. It was blocked up before it even got on net. McGonigal gets this back. A D off the end boards. Trying to chip it out, but can't. It was number 3 in Chloe Brown. Down below, it's Konechny. Tries to wrap that around Clarkson, also in to bang away at that rebound. Same with Reed, but Johnston holds her ground to hold on. With 15:40 remaining in the second period of action, on your home for the 2025 Central Plains Capitals Showcase on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. It's possessed by the Northern Bears. Up to the point. That shot tipped on the way through. Johnston able to somehow come up with that save. Squeezed her pads to stop it. Looked like she lost the puck in her equipment too. All that matters is keeping that puck out of the net. As that draw, one cross ice, Sikalenka, that tipped on net, unable to get through cleanly as Yellowhead able to hush away that rebound opportunity. As Konechny, she gets taken down. Penalty coming up here for the Yellowhead Chiefs. It will be most likely a hooking call as Cochran touches it up. And with that, we're going to go to an Elite Prospects power play. Brought to you by Elite Prospects, the most informative hockey player database on the web. It's for the Northern Bears, a prime time opportunity to be able to potentially tie up this hockey game. Their only goal of the game came on the power play already as this worked up to Clement. As Clement to Sikalenka. Sikalenka unloads. That fired on Johnston. Couldn't squeeze the puck, so rebound was left there for Clement. Clement, nice move, goes backdoor, but that pass too hard for Wallen to handle. As for Tran, pass disrupted, but gets to Clement. That blocked up. Yellowhead trying to whack it out, getting a lucky bounce where the Chiefs, that hops over the stick of Clement and all the way into the Prince Albert zone. As Clement plays that to Sikalenka. Sikalenka leads the rush into the Chiefs zone for the Bears. Sikalenka will take this around the net. And now plays it back up to the point, but great stick in the lane there from Facey to allow for that puck to be turned back into the Northern Bears zone. Tran passes this up to Sinkalenka. Sinkalenka, short pass to Christensen, tries to bank it off the boards to herself, but Chapelski cuts it off right away. Rims this around to Despier-Gelaire, who sends this all the way out to the Northern Bears end. Prince Albert looking to establish the offensive zone here on this power play. With under 40 seconds left now, that up the middle for Wallen. Wallen, she shoots, scores! It's number 16 in Aids and Wallen. Goes rooftop, top glove hand side on Gracie Johnston to even this game up at 2 apiece. Second goal of the game for Prince Albert. It's also a second power play goal. As for the most part, look, Yellowhead had a really good kill. But then some open space found by the Northern Bears in the neutral zone. They were able to take advantage of it. Nice move by Wallen to give herself a bit of extra time to shoot that puck, and she picks that corner perfectly. To wire one past Johnston into the slot again. Tran, that shot fanned on by number 6, held in at the point. That shot not to the net that time as Cochran ended up blocking it. Wraparound tried, denied. Rebound chance for Hoffman, but great active sticks from Yellowhead to deny that chance. In front, Rose Cochran tries to go one-on-one with Simonson. Simonson shuts her down. This rims around to Hoffman. Misjudged it off the wall as that was turned over. It's back down low. Boy, protect this puck. As number 12 will look to go for a skate. A Chief draped all over her, and Pollock, boy, makes her way down below the goal line. Protecting this. What a pass into the slot. Even better. Shut down by number 4 in Monker. As Monker picks this up along the wall, sends this in on net. Save made by Brunin. As Monker right in the area to intercept that. She had to be in the slot. It's up the wall for Pollock. Pollock's pass intercepted. As it's the Northern Bears who make their way back into the Chief zone. What a move by Reed, but a better save by Johnston. It's a toe drag backhand shot. Another nifty move, this time from Konechny in the corner. Skill on full display right now for this Northern Bears side. Pass up to the point, cut off by Hodson. As Hodson over to Monker. Monker sends this in deep. She'll go off for a change along with Hodson and Pollock. Fresh set of forwards out for this Chief squad. Stretch pass, unable to connect that time around as Chapelski gets it right back. Chapelski, what a move from number 9. Backhand shot turned aside by number 35 in Brunin. And if I were to tell you that Chapelski's a 2029 graduating year, that's when her graduating year is going to be. If I told you she was born in 2011 and playing at this level, would you believe me? Well, I mean, for Chapelski, just really impressive to see her work here this morning. Is turned over down low. Johnston covers it up. But yeah, it's just incredible. Reminds me a lot of when a player like Rio Pierre was in her rookie year. I believe Chapelski is even younger, and for Rio Pierre, it just looked like she was beyond her years in that rookie year. And for Chapelski, looking very much like she's played at this level for a very long time at U18. Just moments ago had a very nice walk-in chance as the Northern Bears possess this in the Yellowhead zone. Along boards, Wallen, most recent goal scorer in this game. She goes to work with Christensen as Facey, trying to pin that puck along the boards, trying to keep it there. This down below. Erika Mika tries to send it out. She does. It'll be picked up once again by Clarkson. She gets it right back. Over to Sikalenka. Sikalenka fires this in deep. No room to really make a pass there before entering the zone. Chapelski hemmed in down below in the corner. Is taken away by number 22 and Reed. Back to Chapelski. Nice move down below by Chapelski to evade that pressure. Snaps a pass right onto the stick of Despies-Lair. Despies-Lair down the right side. Makes her way in. Shields this puck. In alone as that shot turned aside. Or rather in tight as she was not alone. A bunch of Northern Bears around her, but still somehow able to get that shot off. So we're about at the halfway mark for the second period. 2-2 is the score between the Northern Bears and the Chiefs. As Rose Cochran, what a move there before firing a shot into the glove of Brunin. Casey George take the draw against Konechny. Konechny wins that for the Northern Bears. It's back to Simonson. Takes it around her own net. She'll reverse this to Boy. Boy, short pass up to Konechny. Konechny backtracks in her own end now. She takes this in front of her net, trying to split the Yellowhead Chiefs players that were there, but unable to. So it was almost costly for the Northern Bears. Sure enough, your decision making like that is going to be vital to shore that up as this game goes along, because the Chiefs, they got enough skill to make you pay. Is this all the way down for an icing moments ago? Means we got a face-off back inside of the Yellowhead end. Konechny against George again, as George gets the last laugh this time, wins that draw. So it's Cochran who tries to carry this in. Also has Barnes with her, but PA, they're able to break this out. Konechny to the line for Reed. Somehow that stays onside. Impressive job by Reed to be able to hold the line before getting that pass. But the Chiefs able to take it away in their own end. Rose Cochran off the boards and out. This is sent all the way in deep into the Northern Bears zone. Chasing on it. Not sure who that is for the Chiefs. But a nice job by, I believe, Simonson to rub out her Chiefs opponent there. As Courtney Cochran takes it around her net. Cochran through the legs pass. That all the way out and intercepted by Marshall. Sent deep into the Yellowhead zone again with 8:30 remaining in the second period. Stripped away of the puck is Cochran by Anderson. Anderson turned aside. Another chance here for Hoffman. That doesn't get through. Third time the charm maybe for Marshall, but no, as that's blocked up. Andy Marshall has that taken away now as Yellowhead strips the Bears out the line just before the blue line. Hodson sends that shot wide of the net. Occupied by Brunin. As the Bears look to attack again. Hoffman with some room down on Johnston. That shot into the glove. Number 33 in Gracie Johnston. And covered up. Got a stoppage in play with 7:55 remaining in this second period of action. In this period brought to you by Elite Prospects. As for the Chiefs, they win that draw. Bad bounce off of the glass. Ends up being okay for Yellowhead as they're able to break out anyways. As Rose Deba drops us back. Despies-Lair. She shoots that shot turned aside by Brunin, who reached across her body to make the glove save. So Rose Deba to take the draw for the Chiefs. Wins that. Despies-Lair, a one-time blast blocked up into the shin pad of a Northern Bear. As this Chapelski still has a stick caught up in her body there from Christensen. Finally, the two break free from each other. As it'll be Sikalenka looks to go for a skate, passes this up into the neutral ice for Christensen. Christensen off the boards, trying to beat the last Chiefs defenseman back in Mikko, but unable to do so. As the Chiefs send this out. DDD pass Sikalenka. So Northern Bears work this back into the Chiefs' end. Below the goal line it goes. Chapowski, quick pass to Mikko. So it allows for the Chiefs to start this breakout off right. Cross ice pack to Facey. Ends up going cross ice back into the corner. She goes off with a change. Northern Bears dangling in their own end, sent this through the middle as that pass ends up to neutral ice. Now into the Chiefs zone again. Clarkson had it taken away by George. George sends this in deep. No icing called on the play as she was past the red line as George rubs out her opponent down below into the low slot. That pass attempt not able to be there for number 23 in Barnes. Now it's to Clarkson. Clarkson, she unloads that shot wide of the net. Had some power behind it. It's Johnston's glove, not tested that time. DDD pass for Yellowhead as they look to break it out. Brown sends it off the wall and out. Back in the Northern Bears zone. First one on it, number 23 in Casey Marshall. That shot from Tran wide of the net. She shot through some traffic. The Chiefs now break this out as they bank it off the wall. As it's a 3-on-1 for Yellowhead. That drop pass, though, off the mark. Number 4 in Monker, the intended target. She was covered up really well. Pollock tried to complete the pass to her. Sends a pass up to Hodson. Hodson tries to dangle through. Nice shut down by Marshall. That shot from number 16 in Pollock turned aside by Brunin. So I couldn't make out who was the one who chipped it to herself. That was Emma Pollock, who creates that 3-on-1 opportunity. Just in terms of the execution, not theirs. That draw pass, not only off its target, but into coverage in the Northern Bears zone. Number 22 in Clark, or 7 in Clement, up the boards. This is to Hoffman. Marshall picks this puck up along the boards, but offside will be called. That's another one of our sponsors for this period, Movement, Fitness, and Performance. Thank you to them for supporting us all weekend long. Our coverage of the 2025 Central Plains Capitals Showcase live here from Stride Place Arena in Portage La Prairie, Manitoba. The game currently tied at 2 apiece. 19-17 the shots in favor of the Northern Bears as they look to get on the attack. That pass can't be cradled in by Anderson. Oakton now rubs her out along the boards, but good support. It's Andy Marshall who's on it. Rose Deba hauls her down below the goal line. No call there from the referee. It's right close to it. Decided to let them play on. As in the corner, 2 Northern Bears look to get this free from 2 Chiefs. It's the Chiefs who come out of that battle successful. Rose Deba off the boards and out. This ends up all the way back down to the Northern Bears end as the Chiefs also get a change. Got to be careful though as this stretched up. Luckily an offside on the play for Yellowhead, so they were just getting back off of the line change. Support the defensive zone coverage. And Coach McGonigal wanting this face-off near the Prince Albert zone. As whistles blow, we get things sorted out. So yeah, it's confirmation from the referee and the linesman about how exactly this next face-off is going to go down. Reed wins that draw against AC George. Simonson goes D-to-D. Played in on Ned Johnston. Looked like she was going to play it, but decides to cover it up instead. With 3:56 remaining in this period. We got the third coming up here soon, too. So we start our first of 3 games today. That kick to the slot scores! Rather in tight in the crease. Shot couldn't be handled cleanly there by Johnston. And it's number 19 in Clarkson who puts home the garbage out in front. With 3:49 remaining, that goal brought to you by Elite Prospects. So it gives the Northern Bears a 3-2 lead with 3:49 remaining. As for Hodson to McGonigal. McGonigal's pass ends up being intercepted right away by Clarkson as the Northern Bears are right back on the attack. On the pressure, on the forecheck. So they look to win this board battle. Clarkson, good support from the point. Sends this down deep. It's in the direction of Mitchell. Mitchell tries to whip that to the front, but that pass unable to be unloaded by number 8. It's controlled to the point. Simonson, fake shot before she passes this off of a helmet and deflected. That went off of Clarkson. Some friendly fire in front for the Northern Bears as they still search for this puck. Now up to the high slot. Yellowhead almost able to get it out, but not quite still. As for the Chiefs, withstanding some really tough pressure, really physical play from the Northern Bears, and the Northern Bears, for their aggressiveness, they're going to be rewarded with another power play coming up here. As number 16 and Emma Pollock goes to the box. So we keep Elite Prospects on the screen. It'll be a 2-minute power play at the most for the next 2 minutes with 2:52 remaining in this second period of action. Northern Bears looking for a third unanswered goal here coming up as they work this to the outside, up to the point for Davidge. Davidge, her shot tipped wide of the net. It's just down low to Marshall. Casey Marshall fed that to Tran, who has that shot blocked. It's the Chiefs hemmed in the corner, unable to get it out. Great defensive stick by Cochran in front to poke that away from Tran. Was looking her chomps, salivating at that loose puck being there. Yellowhead able to send it out as good forecheck here forces a turnover. As a Northern Bear hauled down by Rose Day, but both of them going to battle down below in the Northern Bear zone. Hoffman will drop this back now for Andy Marshall. Marshall to the forehand. Her shot off of Johnston on the top of the net. That goes, no, it's in the back of the net. Or hold up just a moment. A Chiefs defenseman just picks up that puck off the top of the net. But somehow this is called a goal. No, it's waved off. Waved off as the Northern Bears in the middle of their flyby. Yeah, I didn't think my eyesight was that bad. So we got clear sights here from the media box at Stride Place Arena. But another great opportunity around the net for the Northern Bears. PA, gotta love how they continue to get these looks. Good pressure put on. Traffic in front, that blocked up. Rebound there, but Hoffman can't fire it. As Courtney Cochran, Chapelski just took a heavy shot to the head. She's in a lot of discomfort right now. As the play was stopped right away, actually. As it definitely gonna hurt for number 9 after this one. 26 seconds remain. Siklenka over to Anderson off of the post. What a rip from number 11. Just a bit off As she gets it again, maybe this time, rebound there, turned aside by the Chiefs. As 10 more seconds on this power play. Into the last minute of play as well as Anderson feeds this to Clement. That shot wide of the net, off the backboards. We're back to even strength on that Elite Prospects power play. For a moment, thought we might have had a goal. This to Anderson. What a save by Gracie Johnston. Just getting a glove on that one. Johnston was ready for it that time. As this down low into the direction of Anderson. What a shift it's been here for number 11. She gets this up to the point, continuing to work it. Now to Siklanka. Across to Clement. Clement, her shot denied by Johnston. Another big save by number 33. It's this off the backboards. McGonigal banks it to a teammate. And Monker sends this all the way down deep. It's Pollock giving chase on Clement in the dying seconds of this period. Under 5 to play now. As this just played to the boards by Oakton as the buzzer sounds to conclude our second period of action. For a split second, thought it might have been 4-2, but the puck didn't lie. Ended up on the top of the net. Northern Bears celebrated like they had scored. Of course, why wouldn't you trying to sell it? But the Chiefs pointed out that, hey, it's on the top of the net, and we played on at 3-2, but yeah, the Northern Bears, as this game has gone along, they've really heated up in terms of creating chances in the offensive zone, opening up some ice for themselves, taking advantage of the open ice on the power play that they had to score that game-tying goal, and have seen their shot total rise up to 26. 17 shots through 2 periods for the Yellowhead Chiefs. They're hoping for a big bounce back in this third period coming up. Trying to at least get this one to a tie to send themselves off with one of 2 positive results. Either a tie or win, I'd say. More positive than a loss. But at the end of the day, just about working out the kinks this showcase and getting things ready for the upcoming regular season, as the Chiefs and the Northern Bears will have a chance to do that one final time this weekend on your home for the 2025 Central Plains Capital Showcase on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. Thanks to Elite Prospects and to Movement Fitness and Performance for sponsoring that period. We'll be taking it to a promo screen here, and we'll be back for the third period call shortly. And welcome back into the second intermission as the Zamboni has just made its way off the ice as they shovel the snow ahead of this third period, which currently, as you can see on the scoreboard, 3-2 in favor of the Prince Albert Northern Bears, capitalizing twice on the power play today, and yeah, most recently, near the end of that second period, crashed in the net and putting home the trash to put themselves up by one heading into the final 20 minutes of play. Shots 26-17 in favor of Prince Albert. Seen their game ramp up as this one has gone along. Thought that the Northern Bears had the superior period in period number 2. Had a lot more high-quality chances, limited more of Yellowhead's chances throughout those most recent 20 minutes of play, and also seen some big saves too when things have broken down from a goaltender in Avery Brunin. Prince Albert had thought they had scored near the end of that period too, but the puck ended up fluttering up and landed on top of the net, occupied by Gracie Johnston. But yeah, Yellowhead did a really good job of taking away the low slot, the crease area, clearing away rebounds in that first period. Not as great for them in that area during the second period of action. For Prince Albert too, they got really good abilities with their sticks, really good at pickpocketing their opponents, in tight, able to find loose pucks, as we've seen previously this weekend through the first 2 days of this showcase, and that's continued here on day number 3. And as for this Yellowhead Chiefs squad, coached by Logan McGonigal this year, as Derek Tibbetts remains on the staff, longtime Yellowhead Chiefs head coach. Not here this weekend, but for this Chiefs team, with a bit of a different look at head coach. We'll see how Logan McGonigal follows in the footsteps of a coach like Derek Tibbetts. And huge to have Derek Tibbetts on the staff still. The amount of knowledge he has to be able to mentor these coaches. It's the start of a bit of a new era in Yellowhead Chiefs hockey, with that being considered. But our first 2 periods have been sponsored by 3 sponsors in Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia for period 1, Movement Fitness and Performance, and Elite Prospects for period number 2. And for this period, we're brought to you by Terrico. As for the Northern Bears, that pass off the stick of Andy Marshall and down deep into the Chiefs zone as the Northern Bears get it back. Hoffman from high up in the zone ended up having that shot blocked as it's able to make its way back in the neutral zone, sent right back into the Chiefs' end. Gracie Johnston, out of her own net, touches this up for McGonigal. McGonigal passed up to Barnes. Barnes, cross-ice feed to Brown, had her stick tied up, couldn't receive that pass. This cut off now by Rose Cochran. Cochran has that stripped right away. Jersey Anderson, who had multiple one-time rockets to end off that period, just couldn't find a way to beat Gracie Johnston. As for Johnston, she had a really strong end to that period, keeping things within only 1 goal as Prince Albert was really pressing, and they press again. 2-on-1 developing. Clement, her shot gloved down by Johnston. She was trying to create a rebound on net, it looked like, for Christensen, but that never ended up materializing with the save from Johnston. As Konechny to take the draw. That might be Konechny, not Clarkson. Tough to tell 18 and 19 apart sometimes from up here. As for Clarkson, tries to shovel this up to the point, gets it to Clements, just to number 27, as she sends this back down low, right in the direction of Konechny, as Konechny hauls down a Chiefs player. Both go down in a heap as the Northern Bears make their way back in. Siklanka, that shot turned aside by Johnson, rebound cleared away by Cochran in front. Courtney Cochran, that is back into neutral ice. The Northern Bears continuing to attack off transition as they get back down low. Tran trying to pull that through a Yellowhead D, but ends up being shut down right away. Facey off the boards all the way out into the Northern Bears, and no icing called on the play. It's waved off by the referee. The linesman, that is. So there's 2 linesmen and 1 head referee for all games this weekend. Here at Stride Place, as losing an edge, Mitchell along the wall. Ends up back to Siklanka. Siklanka, she'll go for a skate now as Siklanka chips it up, trying to make her move past Miko, as Miko just gets a stick on the puck first on a good back check from the senior defenseman. Now maybe a chance for Barnes for Yellowhead. Closing in on her was Clarkson. Makes her take a shot from the stick of Barnes and turned aside by Brunin. .17:05 remaining in this third period of action. The Chiefs trying to get a cycle going. Is that sent down low? Be to number 16 in Pollock, as Pollock sends that towards the net. Glove down on a pop fly type of play by Brunin. 19th shot she's faced this morning. Made 17 saves out of the 19. She's looked sharp throughout this one. It'll be Rose Cochran. Dishes this off D to D to Courtney Cochran. Cochran's pass up into the skates of Tran as it gets to Monker. Monker over to Hodgson. That pass just off of her stick. Unable to cradle it in. Be number 12 in Boye. Chips this off the boards. It's Tran. She shoots that shot wide of the net. She was trying to locate that 6th side of the net with that shot on Johnston. Simonson unable to hold the line. Decides to throw it back to Boye on the Northern Bears side of the red line. Puck sent in back to the Chiefs zone. Hodgson battles along the wall with Boye. Boye cuts her off. Takes that puck back as it's D to D. Threads a pass through to Hoffman. Hoffman, her shot deflected on the way through, but save made by Gracie Johnston. So the Chiefs goaltender has looked really sharp here through this period, and as that second period went along, of course in the final minutes of it too, making big time saves. So her team was on the penalty kill draw, won by the Northern Bears. So it's Davidge, sends a pass over to Hoffman as Lendon Hoffman harassed a bit along the boards by a Chiefs player. As it's up top to Davidge again. That shot tipped wide of the net. Anderson had her stick tied up a bit with number 6 of the Chiefs in Oakton. It's number 10 in Facey. Sends that down deep. On the attack, Despiège-Lair. It's to Facey. Facey back down low to Despiège-Lair. Despiège-Lair tries to bank that in off the side of the net on Brunin, but unable to get it to go. It's a little nutmeg move by Anderson as she makes her way and has Hoffman with her. Another loose puck dangle past Miko before she sends that to the front of the net. Turned over and now looking to turn it up ice is Rose D, but gets cut off there right along the Prince Albert Northern Bears bench. Transitioning up again is PA. Just looking to attack each and every time they have the puck on transition. Yellowhead doing a good job of shutting it down on the rush. As this gets rimmed around, it's to Brown. Brown just gets this out off of the skate of Clarkson. Clarkson gets stripped now at the red line of the puck as it's Brown. Shoots that just wide of the net, down the right side. She entered into the Prince Albert zone, rimmed around now to safety for Rose Cochran. Has to play it quick and does exactly that, but cut off right away down the wall as Prince Albert just able to get it out at the line. That was Clarkson. Sent it up to Christensen, who sends that in deep. So it'll be McGonigal. We'll flip this up to Barnes. Barnes loses her balance. Lost an edge. So it allows for Prince Albert to break in once again. That shot turned aside by Johnston. Just stays in play. Doesn't quite hit the mesh. Konechny to the slot. That pass misfired. So it's covered up well by Brown for the Chiefs. All over Reed on the coverage as Brown goes off for a change. Simonson makes her way in. Held up near the ringette line. Allows for Hodson to take it away as the Yellowhead looks to transition up. Pass just out of the reach for Pollock. Tries to get it back off the boards, but Bowie right there to take it back for the Northern Bears. It's behind the net. Hodson sends it to the point for Oakton. Oakton tries to flip this back down low, but pass intercepted by a Northern Bears player. High stick delayed here on the play, but it'll be touched up by the Chiefs, eliminating that chance. As this stripped away by Wallen, already with a goal in this game, closed off by a Chiefs defense right away. That shot wide of the net from the Northern Bears. As in the corner, it's Tran, right face-off circle, tries sending it to the net. That intercepted by Courtney Cochran as the Chiefs make their way back into the Northern Bears zone, taken away by Tran. Tran, as three Chiefs were approaching her, just sends this back into the Yellowhead end. So we haven't had a whistle for quite a long time here. These teams just going back and forth and defending against the rush, shutting each other down really well too. As Despiège-Laird gloved that down, Prince Albert Northern Bear loses an edge. That was number 6 in Tran. That puck gets past her all the way back down to the Northern Bears end. Out to leave it was Brunin for defense. And so this gets back into the neutral ice. It'll be Rose Deba who wheels in. Rose Deba, her blocker, or her shot blockered away there by Brunin. As Despiège-Laird works that down low, trying to go tic-tac-toe was Yellowhead, but that pass unable to get to Facey. Chipped out again, and it's Hoffman going one-on-one with Rose Cochran. Hoffman through with a screen wide of the net with that shot. She tried to use Cochran as a decoy. Andy Marshall loses possession of the puck, turned over in the Chiefs slot. So this will be Andy Marshall. Puck gets past her all the way back down into the Northern Bears zone. This goes. It'll be Rowan Clement able to get this through to Hoffman. Has Anderson heading to the net, looking to shoot for a rebound, but wide of the net that goes. As Sekalenka gets it to Anderson. Back to Sekalenka. Sends that down to Hoffman. Hoffman cut off by Courtney Cochran, but in for support is Andy Marshall. Marshall, great skating ability down low, evading the Chiefs' pressure. Somehow dangles up the wall and gets this to safety to Clement. Clement walks in. That shot fired just off of the left shoulder of Johnston. It's number 33 with a big save. Pressure still continuing for the Northern Bears. Chance for Anderson. Wide of the net. She puts that as all the way down this goes. Just makes his way past the blue line. George almost strips Clement of the puck, but Marshall able to get it back. As for Chapelski, first time seeing her on the ice, first time calling her name this period. Glad to see she's okay after taking a heavy shot to the side of the head near the end of last period. Down low, wraparound chance denied. I believe that was number 11 in Hodson for the Chiefs. It's their 20th of the game. Still 3-2 for the Northern Bears. That, dangerous redirect. But back in the net by Chapelski. Looked like maybe she was going to redirect it on Johnston for a moment. As Boy goes back in her own end to retrieve this puck. Cut through the middle of her own end. That proving costly. Turnover force. Hodson off the helmet of Brunin on a great chance again from number 11. Had the wraparound chance previously on this shift. As the Northern Bears go off for a change, this whipped across to Hodson. Off the board, sends this in the direction of Despiège-Laird, but she gets cut off by Mitchell. Mitchell, she'll skate this up the middle. And continuing up the middle in the neutral zone, now into the Chiefs' end as that shot off the stick of Cochran. Courtney Cochran, that is. Didn't allow it to register on net for a shot. It's for Courtney Cochran. Wheels back into her own end. Passes this off the boards from beyond the goal line. Turned over, though. Tran to the slot. Can't connect with the teammate there. She was trying to fire it to number 8 Mitchell. So Northern Bears send this in deep. 8:29 remaining. As we continue to play on here for game 19 of this 22-game showcase on this Sunday morning. As mentioned, haven't had a whistle for a while here. These two teams, really good flow going on right now in this game. As this all the way down, finally we will get a whistle. As this will be called for an icing. This third period brought to you by Terrico. Serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Sure to find out why they've been so trusted at Terrico.ca. As draw one by the Bears, and David, her shot unable to get through. As Cochran taken down below. The Northern Bears pass up top to David, again scores! It finds its way through the body, between the pad and the glove hand sidearm of Gracie Johnston, to put the Northern Bears up by 2 with 7:45 remaining. That's Addison Davidge with the goal, number 4. She goes off for a change. And for the Northern Bears, it was only a matter of time. They've had more of the offensive zone time opportunities in this period. They've been attacking well off the rush, but getting the face off, being able to establish the zone a bit and work it around. As for this Prince Albert Northern Bears team, if I'm Steve Young, got to be really happy with how his team has looked here in the final game of this weekend showcase. Now it's about finishing it strong. So we already have seen a 2-goal lead disappear in the showcase before. Flashback to Friday, where the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, which we'll be seeing them in our final game of this weekend against Eastman coming up at 1:30 p.m. As Konechny, with speed, fires this cross ice to Wallen. Wallen drops this right back to Konechny. Oh, off the post! Konechny so close to making it 5 for the Northern Bears. That shot deflected wide of the net too. And the Northern Bears, they look to press once again. Boy, her shot trying to find a stick in front for a tip. It went wide of the net instead. But Reed will be on it down low. Reed chipped it off the boards, took a tumble. As for Northern Bears, they'll just whip this back down low. Konechny heads off to the bench for a change. Hodson just able to send this one out. It's up to Boye, who walks in offside. Called on the play with 6:06 remaining here in this period. 32-21 the shots in favor of the Northern Bears. They lead this one 4-2. Your host, Graham the G Show Forsyth, will be your play-by-play commentator for all of the action this Sunday. As we wrap things up today for day 3 of the Central Plains Capital Showcase, third and final day of the annual preseason event. Strapelski being hounded there by number 8 Mitchell. Guess that pass to the crease. It ends up being covered up by Johnston. Shot from the corner, save made by Johnston. It's turned aside. This unable to get down or out of the zone as the Northern Bears keep it down low for the time being. That shot attempt towards the net on the backhand of Tran missed. So it gets back to Christensen, tried to turn and fire, but ended up fanning on the puck as Tran loses her balance on the way through in the slot there. But no call called on the play. With under 5 minutes remaining now in this third period of action, as Despierre, she's going to lose an edge. Takes a tumble along the boards. The refs will just blow this down. Giving us a stoppage and a face-off. Coming up just in the Yellowhead Chiefs zone to the glove hand side of Gracie Johnston. As for the Chiefs, they win the draw and able to make it out. As that pass, Siklanka, misfire as it's turned over right to Facey. Facey, her shot unable to get through, blocked up well by Clement. As Clement now has this stripped away from her down below by Rose Deba. Rose Deba tried to fire that from right behind the net. Ended up missing. But puck still got to the point, as Yellowhead still able to hold the line. As Clement goes D-to-D to Siklanka. Siklanka to an outlet girl, but that pass up the middle gets intercepted. It's onto the stick of Casey George. George sends this down low, goes to chase after it. First one on it, Siklanka plays it up the right side. This is back down into the Yellowhead zone. They transition up this time as Brown sends this in deep. Off the boards from the Northern Bears as I believe that's Andy Marshall carrying the puck down the right side in on Chapalski, trying to send that behind the back, but pass doesn't end up going anywhere for number 9 in Marshall. She still remains out there. She hovers towards the middle of her own zone, anticipating maybe a defensive stop type of scenario for this Prince Albert Northern Bears team. As it's a stoppage in play with 3:16 remaining in this hockey game. No matter what, as there is no overtime or regulation, Prince Albert searching for what we've seen on our network this weekend would be their first win against an MFHL opponent. As the Chiefs wrap around from behind the net. Brunin denies. She lost her glove in the process. Yellowhead aggressive in around the Northern Bears crease. As for Emma Pollock, tied up on the face-off draw there against Reed. Cut off a long wall by Pollock. She sends this right back down for Yellowhead. This gets rimmed around to safety for Wallen. Wallen, her pass up the middle got knocked off the stick of Reed, but Reed will chip it into the Yellowhead zone now. It's across to Pollock. That pass off the mark. It ends up to David as she recovers it in the Prince Albert zone. Whips it off the glass around and out. This will be played D-to-D to Chapelski. Chapelski up to Hodson. Hodson dangling through the neutral ice. Dishes this off to a teammate. Not sure who that is, but that shot on net and covered up. That shot was from Monker. Brunin with what would be her 22nd save of this morning. Whereas Prince Albert, after this game, they got a bit of a journey back home. So they'll be heading back to Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. As for the Chiefs, we'll be heading back home. Just a lot less travel time, that is, as they'll be heading back to their home in Shoal Lake. Players will disperse to their hometowns in this province as in tight. Facey trying to make something happen. The stick action too good there from this Northern Bears squad. As this gets sent all the way down into the Chiefs' end. Called for an icing. Of course, coming up after this matchup at 11:15 a.m., it's the Winnipeg Avros. It's the Westman Wildcats. A rematch of last year's quarterfinal series. One of the 4 quarterfinal series in the MFHL where the Avros ended up winning that series 3-1, winning in 4 games in that best of 5 first round action. Of course, for every team playing today, everyone just gets 1 game. There's 5 games in total on the schedule on this final day of coverage from the Central Plains Capital Showcase. As for the Northern Bears, it's looked really strong here, especially as this weekend has gone on and they've gotten more comfortable with their game and with each other. Just a lot of speed put on display in this game, especially in the third period where they just kept coming in hard on the Yellowhead Chiefs to attack and create chances. So they added an insurance marker at 4-2. So it was Davidge who snuck one through. Gracie Johnston, is that blocked in front? Huge by Cochran. Another shot, Sekalanka. Third time that deflected in front of the net. Is that another chance? Johnston kicks out the pad again. 4 saves in this sequence for number 33 as she stays busy until the very end with 37 shots faced today. 33 saves, maybe 1 or 2 more if the Northern Bears are able to get 1 more shot. Doesn't look like it. Actually, yes, looked like that shot did get on net. And as for the Prince Albert Northern Bears, a great end to their weekend before they get started to get their real games going in the regular season, which will be starting in the Saskatchewan Female U18 AAA Hockey League in the next few weeks and or weekends. As for the Yellowhead Chiefs, they end up dropping yet another game this weekend. But I think for them, they did some good things this weekend. They created some good offensive zone time. Saw some really good goaltending today from Gracie Johnson to end things off. And I think for them, like, you start off this weekend losing 6-2 to a rival in the Westman Wildcats. They played better and better as the showcase went along. They had some wins in there. Unfortunately, they end off with a loss, but as we've mentioned already, the wins and losses really don't matter that much. It's about how your process is looking during this weekend, the things you need to clean up before you head into the real games, which for the Yellowhead Chiefs, rumor has it that the MFHL regular season is starting next weekend, so the weekend coming up. We can't wait to broadcast them all season long. To the Yellowhead Chiefs fans that tuned in this weekend, thank you so much for doing so. Same to the fans from Prince Albert, the Northern Bears. We hope you continue to tune in to our final 2 games. We got some great ones to finish day 3 off. And to conclude our weekend, we got the Winnipeg Avros taking on the Westman Wildcats coming up next. At 11:15 a.m. should be the puck drop. And then we end off at 1:30 p.m. for puck drop in that game, game number 22 between the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy Buffaloes and the Eastman Selects. This game was brought to you by Terrico for the third period, Movement Fitness and Performance, as well as Elite Prospects for the second period, as well as Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia for the first period. Thank you to all those sponsors, again, for supporting us here on the network and supporting our coverage for female hockey in the province of Manitoba. Until we see you for Avros and Wildcats, if you're tuning into that one, I've been your host and play-by-play commentator, Graham Forsyth, saying so long. Prince Albert ends off their weekend here in Central Plains, their road trip to Manitoba, with a 4-2 win over the Yellowhead Chiefs. Take care, everybody.